Coming up on today's wrestling news, has the WrestleMania 40 main event finally been confirmed?
We've got a potential rumour killer on Kazuchika Okada to WWE.
Another top WWE star's contract is expiring this year.
And John Cena reveals his surprising WWE retirement plans.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. So we are on the road to WrestleMania. It's the Rumble this Saturday. Join me and Hamflett for our live stream for it on Saturday night. But there's obviously a lot of speculation as to what the main events of WrestleMania are going to be. Punk versus Seth, fingers crossed if his knee gets a little bit better. The big question, though, of course, is who's Roman Reigns facing at WrestleMania 40. It felt like it was really obvious until the start of the year when The Rock came out and, well, said what he said. But a bit of details on that coming through from Fightful Select. Apparently, Cody Rhodes and The Rock, who are vying for that WrestleMania main event spot, met up backstage at the Day 1 edition of Monday Night Raw, of course. Well, it's all seemed to have been resolved. So as I say, Fightful Select report that they met in gorilla position and they embraced in an act of support of Cody Rhodes and what he's been doing. The Rock's been a big fan of his. He talked about this. I'll read a full thing about it in a second. Before, even when he was in AEW. So do you want to do the thing how you explained it to me this morning? Because I think it's really funny in terms of how Cody's thought process would have been backstage.
Well, yeah. So they share this embrace in gorilla position. It's important to note that it's before anything that we see on screen with The Rock. So The Rock, they have this embrace. As the Fightful reporters, you'll go into detail. The Rock says, love what you've been doing, love everything you have done. Even in All Elite Wrestling, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Couldn't love this more. Finish your story, Dusty, love it. All this stuff. It's 5 minutes. I'm just going to go speak to Jinder Mahal. I just got to bury him, a bit of pat there. Does that. It's about to wrap up and says, I am by the head of the table. See you later, guys. He must be sort of grilling going, oh, me, I guess or not,
Yes.
We don't know. As it turns out, was he just foreshadowing the big news we got yesterday about him joining the board at TKO and now having this, high up position within WWE board of directors?
Fightful Select added to this. Those we spoke to that said they got the feeling that The Rock wasn't there to stand in the way of anything, but did know that, as Hamflett said, it was before his promo, and most people didn't know his head of the table line was coming.
Good.
They've been word around WWE ahead of The Rock getting a board seat that WWE was trying to land him in some sort of contract or deal, but nobody expected anything to the scope of what happened yesterday. We're also told by sources close to The Rock he's long been a proponent and supportive of Cody Rhodes, even while he was in All Elite Wrestling. But yeah, it does kind of throw a spanner in the works if you suddenly tease one of the biggest matches WWE can make.
Yeah, I have put this out online. And spoke about it on podcasts. I think it's cope, ultimately what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
But WWE was supremely effective in using The Rock, just like this, before WrestleMania 27's main event of John Cena versus The Miz, only to one night later announce the WrestleMania main event a year in advance. Is this so bad to do it again? I know that I'm sounding like somebody desperate to see Cody finish the story with the way we all want him to do it, but it's not bad business from WWE's point of view.
No.
The Rock has put himself right back in the conversation. You can still put the belt on Cody, and The Rock's challenge to Roman for next year would fall right as Monday Night Raw lands on Netflix in early 2025, where The Rock gets to suddenly be the brand new big star of this brand new, this endeavour, I guess, no pun intended, for Monday Night Raw, as it makes this dramatic move away from broadcast television to the streaming service.
Would it bother you if The Rock was involved in the main event between Roman and Cody, but he doesn't lay a finger on either of them? He just cuts off a Solo or a Jimmy trying to run interference yet again for the Tribal Chief.
I think that'd be sort of awesome. Actually, is that not another way that everybody gets what they want? I think the point is...
Funny shadowing as well, with the show ending with Roman looking up at The Rock raising Cody's arm.
Yeah. Indeed.
I mean, literally, that's my dream ending
That's
of
what you want,
WrestleMania.
yeah. And I mean, of course, nobody at this point is considering where Jinder Mahal slots in.
Of course.
The original, the kind of LTST lore of all of this was that he was the, who's the third man, brother? Jinder Mahal. It's, I don't know, there's a bunch of, we keep talking about this, there's a bunch of massive names in the picture. It's the hot hand you want.
Yes.
But it's Triple H and WWE's job to make this satisfactory for everybody, and that's not easy.
Let Cody finish the story. In a one-on-one match, triple threat is not what I want to see. I'd enjoy it nonetheless, but I'd prefer it to be a one-on-one Cody versus Roman match. and you can do Roman Rock next year with no title involved.
Indeed. We may have just added some people to the WrestleMania 41 main event scene.
Yes.
But we may also be about to lift one out, potentially.
Okay.
We have a possible rumour killer on Kazuchika Okada's move to WWE, which was brought up yesterday by Monthly Puro magazine as seeming most likely. Of course, like Okada's status with either WWE or AEW has gone back and forth since the news broke that he's going to be finishing up with New Japan in February. A relatively credible source yesterday suggested that he could go to WWE via NXT at Monthly Puro. Kazuchika Okada has sought the services of famous wrestling agent Barry Bloom, so maybe some of the stories we're hearing and reporting are indeed part of things being fed to, ensure the Rainmaker gets the money that's owed to him by these two billionaires that want his services. Absolutely go and get that bag. But apparently the rumours yesterday are maybe not as substantiated as we first thought. The ever-reliable Fightful Select came through with information that people... Fightful sources close to New Japan say that the NXT situation is not the situation as they know it, and another WWE higher-up said, quote, well, that would be news to us at this point. There's also other sources within NXT that had heard nothing about it. Fightful also added that from people they talked to within AEW still believe that they're, what was the exact words, very much in the running to land Kazuchika Okada. They wanted to reiterate Fightful, as did Dave Meltzer the other day, and as did everybody credible that's reported on this, that everybody is expressing interest. Nobody is expressing a definitive answer that, yes, we've got him. It's a long way around saying nobody knows, but I think it's safe to assume that maybe the conversations on both sides are still occurring.
Yeah, and
it's fascinating.
You say they're credible. There's only one real wrestling journalist left. But,
well, what's he doing?
I am still sourcing it. I'm worried that my bias would influence this, because obviously he wants to go to the show that puts on the best matches, the best pure wrestling show of the week. So NXT does seem like the most logical place for him to go. We'll talk a little bit about this in the Twitter questions as well. I'd still lean towards him going to AEW for obvious reasons. The NXT report yesterday was just so out of the blue.
Yeah.
But who knows? The way we're January 24th? The way this year's going, I have no idea.
Well, this year and this year alone, you could attend an AEW show like Okada. You could attend a WWE show like Okada. Or, like Okada if he wants to, you could attend What Culture's live show in Philadelphia.
Yes.
The first time in 5 years we will have been in the United States live, and we'll be there over WrestleMania weekend. The meat in the WrestleMania sandwich, a phrase we are coming to love that everybody else hates, because we'll be slotted neatly between night one and night two. We'll be talking all about night one and all the things night two. And don't worry, if you are going to WrestleMania, you will be able to make it there, because we want to as well. It'll be 12 o'clock kickoff. There'll be all the usual bollocks that you expect from the likes of us. Simon Miller will be there holding Phil, exactly as that picture suggests. There'll be a chance to meet and have a bit of a catch up with all of us, talk WrestleMania, talk all the big stories of the weekend live. The VIP tickets have sold out, but there are still some general sale tickets available. whatculture.com/tickets. It's always sunny in Philadelphia, and even if it's pissing rain, we'll have big smiles on our faces because we've got to love it.
It's funny you say that. I am actually officially going to make it rain at It's Always Sunny at What Culture. Not money, I'm just going to hold a lighter to the sprinklers until they go off. So do join us for that, whatculture.com/tickets.
And look, right, I'm not saying that we knew anything. I couldn't confirm that for myself, nor could the Wrestling's Only Real journalist. But us kind of like referencing a major Netflix property just days before the WWE news breaks. Hey, I'm just asking questions, yeah? Were we ahead of the curve on that one? You decide that for yourself.
Let's move on and talk about another big WWE star whose contract is expiring this year. We've heard the likes of Drew, of Sheamus, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, of course. But another person whose deal is coming up this year is one Finn Balor. This comes from Wrestling Inc. founder Raj Giri, who tweeted, Finn Balor's WWE contract is up after WrestleMania. The word I've gotten is that he hasn't been approached to renew yet. Fightful Select added to that report, saying that his deal does expire after Mania. Not immediately after Mania, but it will run out within a few months of the big April show. And he's kind of in the same boat as all the others, like they've said, of tentative talks you would assume have taken place, but nothing solid's been put on the table for him. He seems to be having a blast, though, right now in Judgment Day. Yeah,
it's weird, isn't it? Like, we're still... As much as it feels like we're now deep into the Triple H era of WWE, it's still easy to reflect back on the time before that and imagine what this story would be if Vince McMahon was still in the hot seat. The Judgment Day are on an incredible run and, well, existed when Vince McMahon was there, albeit in a very different setting. Balor had just joined the group, I believe, when Vince resigned in disgrace. But now with Triple H there, a man that has backed him going all the way back to when he first signed him for NXT back in 2014, strapped him up, the Demon was hugely over, obviously once upon a time in NXT's golden era. Things look pretty good if you're Finn Balor in WWE. I think the more surprising he would be if he jumped now. As much as there'll be loads of cool things from today, brand new things. You know, you would expect Prince Devitt to return. But, it just feels like there is a babyface turn that awaits Finn Balor now. Yeah. There is everything post-Judgment Day. There is the rehabilitation and return of the Demon as we once knew it.
Another world title?
Very possibly. Like, Balor's getting up there in age, but sort of, again, we always talk about this, TV age is very different to what's on your birth certificate, and a brand new revitalised Balor would suddenly be 0 years old. Yeah. Like, I think there's still new things to be done for Finn Balor in WWE, and 10 years deep into the run, I wouldn't have imagined that.
No, I do hope they hold on. I mean, I hope they hold on to all the people that I've mentioned, as much as I would like to see the likes of Sheamus or Becky or Drew in AEW. It's very busy there right now. There's a lot of new people and a lot of names that aren't getting the pushes that I think they deserve over there. Who knows? It's a very different world we live in, like you say, from if these contracts were expiring a few years back.
Indeed. Well, one, I know we don't normally break news live on this, but I'm going to have to break some to you right now. Did you know that you're not actually the only journalist in this game?
What?
I'm afraid you've also been joined by my mum. Shout out Penny Hampstead, who told me to flick over to the One Show last night on BBC One because John Cena was on there, and she was in with the scoop because I was able to glean a story from that was then backed up by an appearance he made later that night on Entertainment Tonight. He's able to do transatlantic TV appearances, promoting the movie Argyle. You don't want to know any of that, and nor do we, to be honest. What we want to know about is John Cena's wrestling future.
Or in her words, John Cena.
Indeed. Legend. Shout out. You think that sort of like the most famous wrestlers in the world have suddenly become household names. She'll ask what The Undertaker's up to. Yeah. She'll just be like, oh yeah, John Cena's on the telly. He's like, and they're nobodies to people. They're absolute nobodies. But yes, John Cena on the One Show last night speaking about his potential retirement. He's been asked this question a lot at the moment, as he was on Entertainment Tonight. We got two quite definitive statements about said retirement. One was to the One Show, and it's worth mentioning, of course, this is for the BBC. This was in London as he said these words. He said, fans in the UK, WWE fans, they're the best. Thanks, John. Fans in London specifically, not so sure. Well, they will let you know how they feel, and I don't think I'll be able to choose my opponent, but if I could choose a venue, it'd be the O2 in London. This was, of course, the site that he campaigned for WWE to have a WrestleMania at Wembley Stadium this time last year when he made his surprise appearance. He followed that up later on with that Entertainment Tonight appearance, pre-recorded, I assume. I don't think he flew all the way back, doing some time travelling, brother. And in reference to when he was going to hang up the beat, he said, that's not a maybe, that time is going to come, and it's going to come soon. I'm going to be 47 this year. I feel great. So inside I feel great. I know what it takes to be a WWE performer night in and night out, and I don't want to ever go out there and do it to just do it. I want to have the passion, the same fan base as the passion gives me. I want to give them exactly what they give me. The miles on the speedometer say, hey, that's got to be done before 50. And then on 2024, he added, I've had at least one match every year in WWE for the past 23 years. I've never missed a year, and as long as I can perform...
Of course, they stuck one in that Christmas.
Yeah, as long as I can perform, I don't intend to miss one. That's the point. So he did the 8 dates in the summer because of the SAG-AFTRA strike in 2023, but just the one in 2022. So it is showing signs of slowing down. You had the Austin Theory match at WrestleMania, which wasn't particularly well received, and it was maybe one of the first times that people looked and saw a man that was starting to check out mentally as well as physically. It could be coming sooner rather than later. He's 47 now, so maybe he's putting a 3-year time on it. The O2 in London, a bit of a twist in all of this, not finishing up in West Newbury, Massachusetts, or Madison Square Garden.
I think they're also going to upgrade that if it's a John Cena retirement.
Well,
either Wembo or like Tottenham Hotspur. I'd like to finish my career at the Tottenham Hotspurs Stadium.
I've heard great things due to our partnership with Netflix about the Stadium of Light. I was always Sunderland till I die.
Yeah, I mean, the way he got his ass handed to him by Solo Sikoa, you kind of sense that this was sort of beginnings of a farewell tour. Let us know in the comment section below, who would you like to see retire John Cena? Be squared for me.
The punker. One more round. Never had a bad match, those two.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, on X, if you want to get in touch with us. Mitchell Gillum says, hey guys, hope you're well. Thanks for the question, Mitchell. With the news of Okada possibly going to WWE/NXT, how would you like to see him booked? Would you give him a manager?
I wouldn't give him a manager. I would give him a gimmick that involves a job that has nothing to do with wrestling.
Quite right.
Because that's the best way to fit in NXT. Look, if you want a long-form discussion on this that frankly goes off the friggin' rails, you can find it on yesterday's NXT preview podcast.
Yes.
Still available wherever you get your podcasts and still relevant in spite of it now being 24 hours old and previewing a show that has aired. I would like him to stick his hand in the NXT job tombola and pull out whatever he pulls out and make it work. All seriousness, right, I think there is something to be said for Okada having one wacky match, or what I like.
Yeah.
I'm not proposing a run. I'm not trying to frighten New Japan hardcores that are terrified at the prospect of Okada within the system. I think it's a different system now. Earnestly, I do. It might look a bit weird. It might feel a bit strange. But there's a couple of bangers there. There's Braun Breaker, there's Ilya Dragunov. There's things that even the purists would enjoy as a short step to the main roster. Certainly not a demotion or him being relegated to like training class.
No, exactly. Yeah, and you know my opinions about NXT. It's the best wrestling show of the week. I would give him a manager. I'd give him Robert Stone. Just look at how well he was training Von Wagner on last night's show. And if you haven't watched it, what are you doing with your life?
Indeed.
But ups and downs from Simon Miller are coming your way, of course, later on today. And then after that, probably trip to Chase U, if that still exists. Fingers crossed. That image of him in the red jumper got me very excited. Keep all your dream match graphics. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Then probably a brief stint in the family with Tony D and Stax. Just makes sense.
How could I forget? Yeah.
You can transition like maybe the Rainmaker, all of his money saves Chase U, but then goes with the family.
I think sometimes we can be accused of being too boring because of going down the logical route, but just basics forward, you know?
I noticed that I haven't pitched any matches because that's not what it's about.
It's not what NXT's about. It literally doesn't say wrestling on the marquee.
Darren, thank you for your question. Darren says, morning guys, do you think that baby faces and heels matter anymore in WWE? Look at Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles now, tweeners, both tweeners, which works. I think there should be more shades of grey rather than heels and baby faces.
I think this is a good question for Darren.
Yes.
Shout out Darren, long-term supporter. I think this is a very relevant question in 2024. Just to look at the CM Punk Cody Rhodes promo from the other night. The hottest thing in wrestling right now. The building was electric for it. Both were beloved in their own right, and that story didn't necessarily require a heel. It just required, at one point, CM Punk to show slight heelish tendencies when he shifted the tone. It can be done by the masters, of which those two are masters, and there are others like them across the industry. In both cases, because I think baby faces now are often just the people the fans like. The Blackpool Combat Club, it's been good and bad for that group that you can switch between being heel and babyface. You almost don't know where you sit with them because sometimes you just want to watch Bryan Danielson or you want to watch Jon Moxley or whatever. So it doesn't matter if they're being baddies, they're too entertaining. And similarly, as heels, it's very, very hard to get proper heat because we're all in on it.
Yeah.
There's very little you can do that has the viewer as a wrestler that has a viewer like us walking away going, I hate him for his pretend act on the wrestling show.
That's why Dominic Mysterio is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
There's something to be said for that, as outlandish and as baiting as you know that statement to be.
Oh, yeah.
There's something to be said for the reactions that people get. But even then, they boo with a smile on the face. Yeah. So is it real heat? I don't think that wrestling has answered that question, but I think it will continue to try. Ultimately, short answer to a long question there, the stars will make any character alignment
You're right,
work.
yeah.
The top stars will make any alignment work.
Yeah, it's not as simplistic as, boo, here comes the tax man or whatever, and look, here comes a man who saved a puppy.
Yeah.
But
that's the heel, right?
Yeah. I agree that yes, it doesn't need to be quite as definitive as it is, because like you say, or at least they're falling back on the trope that works really well of heels can still be bastards but have legitimate gripes. Like Drew's issues are kind of valid.
Yeah.
But you still boo him because he's a bit of an arse about it.
Yeah, he'll deliver it in such a way where you kind of just don't have the sympathy for him that you might have once done.
I'm just really glad that Papa H invented the grey areas between heels and babyfaces, and of course factions over the last few years. So thanks once again, Papa H. What's that I can smell? Oh, it's Papa H cooking. Final question today comes from Senor Benja, who says, Buenos dias. Thank you, Benja, for your question as always. Since the Netflix deal, we'll surely want brand synergy. Which Netflix shows would be great for a promotional deal or celebrity match? My expectations, I love this, are a branded Stranger Things match and a one-piece live-action cast celebrity match.
Well, I've referenced it already. I would quite like Gunther to rock up at the Stadium Light and give Charlie Methven a chop for all the damage he did to my football team. That'd be great for season 3. I'd put the belt on Tony Mowbray. Also, there's a show on Netflix. It's called BoJack Horseman. Ever heard of it?
Oh.
You might not know what goes on in that show,
no
but I
idea.
can certainly recommend a podcast.
What's that?
It's called Podcast Horseman. It's an episode by episode review podcast of the critically acclaimed Netflix series BoJack Horseman. Features myself and Adam Nicholas. Not just reviewing a show that's far much more than a cartoon about a talking horse, but also our complete breakdowns during the pandemic. We recorded between 2020 and 2022. You can find every episode wherever you get your podcasts. And genuinely, there has been a lot of dross animated WWE content in the past, such as Camp WWE. BoJack is a dark character with some darkly comedic overtones that I think would suit wrestling's grim underbelly quite nicely.
Yeah, I really like that as an
Also,
idea.
Black Mirror, because it's Vince McMahon's life.
I'm just going to steal Phil's take. This isn't really in keeping with the match or whatever, but like a Drive to Survive style documentary. Phil Chambers suggested this yesterday. Involved in WWE, I'd watch every second of that because I love like the chronicles and what have you of WWE.
Has your Eric started watching Boober yet on Netflix?
No screen time for it.
All right, give that time. You'll absolutely,
Well, a little bit.
You'll absolutely love it. Like Boober is
Maybe
going
watch this down with Dad and watch his NXT on.
Well, this is it. Like Boober is the cartoon equivalent of the NXT.
Oh my God.
It is a patter and chaos out the yes. You'll come to love it.
I like the Stranger Things suggestion. Perhaps whoever comes out at 11 in the Royal Rumble.
The Rumble on Netflix would be rubbish, wouldn't it? Because like you go 3, 2, 1. Who is it? Skip intro. Like, is that 3 times?
God, yeah, don't let them give them that option when WWE goes on there. I'm just going to pick some of my favourite shows. Love is Blind. How'd that work? I don't know. But everyone's horny in NXT, so it could work there, I suppose.
There you go.
And get the Tiger King on there.
Another NXT.
Tiger King, for some reason in my head, you know what the big match that I book when I think who would be a perfect opponent for Tiger King? Mrs. Dad.
Yeah, George was on it. Shawn Michaels just doing the surrender code.
That's right, and no one, Tiger King's getting his ass kicked and no one comes out to save him. He's like, I yelled for help twice. I got nothing.
Tony Khan looking at the Punk and Cody face off and going, I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Definitive heel, Carol Baskin. Controversial as well because he's fine apparently or other half. That's what you want to believe.
Get her into point at the side.
Right. Check out this video of us predicting all the Royal Rumble women and thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.